Hey everybody, Jamie Kelly here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Season 3 of the Approximate Podcast. Be sure to join our Patreon for only $5 a month to see all of Season 3's episodes in full HD video. That's patreon.com/approximate podcast. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. And to everyone who's tuned in, we love you all. And now, on with the show. Kitty! Fucking stop it. God damn it. Fucking cat. Yeah, you. Oi. Scrapple. Stop it. All right, cut. We're done. Fucking cat. God damn it. Hey. Kaiia Eve, how you doing?
Fab, how are you?
Doing great. I said your name right?
You said it right.
This is the first time we're meeting.
I know, not on Twitter.
Right.
No V meet. This is a real meet.
Yeah.
IRL, not IDL.
Yes.
First time I'm meeting you, but you and Steph know each other.
Oh, yeah. Briefly.
Yeah. We met once.
Yeah.
We got really high together.
I'm surprised either one of us remember when we met.
Barely. I was like, oh yeah. I fell asleep. You fell asleep.
I fell asleep directly after they dabbed me at the bar. I think that's what started like my falling asleep during movies and everything. Because like as soon as I sat down after they dabbed me, I was just
We're done. Yeah. I know. I drove us home.
oh, no way. I don't remember that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to drive when you've been in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
There's an accident on every fucking corner. You got to be calm and collected. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, like weed does that for me. I know other people are not lucky, but
It makes you calm and collected.
yeah, I'm lucky.
You're one of the lucky ones, yeah.
It keeps me productive. So maybe a true stoner would say that, but whatever.
Speaking of productive, let's introduce the audience to you as well as myself. I know so little. So where do you come from? What's your experience in the industry?
So I started as a content creator, mainly like girl in Denver, Colorado in 2017. And, I felt like I kind of did all I could do in Denver. And Ariel X evolved wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Ariel X from Kink.
Yeah.
Ultimate Surrender.
All right. So I was like, I had never filmed a scene before in my life, like a mainstream scene. I had just done content on a webcam at the time. And I messaged Ariel and I was just like, hey, if I was ever in Vegas, like, would you ever let me wrestle? She was like, I would always let you wrestle. So I was like, I guess I have to move to Vegas. Like with the idea in mind, I'm going to be like a porn wrestler. And I moved here and yeah, I did. I went and worked for her and I still work for her this day. She's an inspo to me and a mentor. So that's where I started. And then somewhere in there was a marriage and then it like had to end because I needed to start doing boy-girl porn for my own mental health. And he was just like, ugh. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. So
The ex we're talking about.
yeah, absolutely. He doesn't have a name. I don't even know if he's dead or alive, and I do
You
not
can't
fucking
support
care.
then hit the bricks.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, I'm doing it. So I moved out in COVID and moved in with a friend during COVID and
To Vegas.
Vegas. This all happened in Vegas, yeah. So I wanted to start boy girl, but COVID happened. So I fortunately the person I moved in with, we got to make content together and get paid for it. So my COVID was wasn't that bad. Quarantine wasn't that terrible for me. And then it was time to get out and of quarantine, and I started actually fucking dudes on camera for money, and it was tight, and I did it for a couple months. Then I got an agent. I'm now agent free.
The agent thing didn't work out for you so well?
Listen,
Short-lived, huh?
I was with my old agency for 2 years, over 2 years. There was we just had some business differences. I think collectively the team was great, but sometimes we just didn't totally see eye to eye, and it's better for my business just to do me, you know? And I'm really particular, and I used to not be when I was shooting scenes, I was always like, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. And, now I'm like, no. Like, I'm good on that one. Thank you. But no. And, agents don't like you saying no. And that's fine. Like, cool. Like, I get it. Like, I'll just book myself then. So now, yeah, I just self-book and I make content. And I've been nominated for a few awards here and there. Kind of irrelevant, but like cool, I guess. Won a cam award one year. Wouldn't even really consider myself a cam girl, but I guess I cam. So like maybe I am. And people thought I was good at it. So there was that.
Who was doling out those awards? Was it a AVN? Was it
That was a Why Not Cam
Why
Award
Not?
that I don't think they're doing award shows anymore. And it's none of my business, but,
Ever since the behind the scenes.
Honestly, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Right.
that it's ended, but nonetheless, like, cool. I guess I got an award, but
Goodbye, Laston.
I get to put it on the shelf.
Hey, a free paperweight's a free paperweight.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, honestly, yes. Like that is what it serves as. Correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, in the time that I've, been in the industry, 6 years, it's exactly 6 years this month. This is my 6-year anniversary.
Congratulations for what it's worth.
Thank you. Yeah, it's time fucking flies, yo. I thought I was.
Yeah, it does.
Seriously, it's like, wow, I've felt like I've done nothing, but I've done so much, I'm like, holy shit. But, I started out also being pretty, I thought I was submissive, but God, that's
We could just stop it pretty.
a joke. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I pay money for my lips and my hair, so.
You're saying that you thought you were pretty submissive. But...
Right. Submissive. And I'm not. I'm a pro dominatrix now. That's it.
I guess part of that goes into why you're no longer with an agent anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, I don't want to do that scene. Like, I'll do this scene, but the dude has to be okay with it. Like me telling him he's a slut and shit like that. Like we could still fuck, but like I'm gonna be topping regardless. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's but like it when it comes to like mainstream companies that I actually like working for, I'll be a little subby here and there, but I'm getting a lot of like girl shoots lately, and I will always sub for a hot femme anytime. A man, no, never. But a femme, especially if you're like 35 plus, maybe 40 plus,
Ayo.
50 plus,
Ayo.
I'm down. Okay, like the older the better. But maybe a cutoff at like, I don't know, 70.
Yeah, it just seems like agencies thrive off of 22-year-olds with stars in their eyes saying yes to everything and like kind of playing off of that
New face, teenager,
Yeah,
schoolgirl, all that stuff.
kids being naive.
I'm really lucky when I went with my agency. So I'm 30, gonna be 31 this year. So when I got with my agency, I was 25, and I went in and I said, I don't need a dad. I need someone to book me shoots.
Right.
And that's kind of sometimes where someone at the company, like he wasn't a dad, he just like, I get it. Sometimes they think that they have better advice, and that's fine for what you want to do with your business, but sometimes it's not the best for me. And that's just, the way the cookie crumbled there a little bit.
Right. I guess this was an agency out of LA.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You don't have to name names.
No,
so-
no, I used to be with Next Level.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, like I have no issues or anything with them. We actually like collectively had I had a decent time there. But again, I think an agency, regardless of whatever agency you are with, it is definitely like about what are you gonna make it? Because like it's very easy to let someone who's supposed to be working for you make it about them if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
And I was just very, fortunate to at least be 25 and understand what my boundaries were going into it. And I also didn't have an agent for the first 2 or 3 years, and I learned a lot of my boundaries there. So, I'm really lucky in those regards because I was able to say, no, I don't do anal, and I still do not do anal to this day, and I never have taken a scene, and I never will. And that was a hard sell for my agents. I get it. I don't do anal, and I have a shit ton of tattoos. you do the girl math on how that all makes sense in the industry. I don't know. I'm very fortunate that the directors have given me a chance and my talent show, and I work for Browsers every fucking month, so it's great.
Eh,
Oh yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's around 25, 26 where you really start to develop your own sense of autonomy.
Isn't your brain like also done developing finally? You're
Right when it starts to like gel and you become the most you can be, and it
Yeah.
stops being about like biological development and starts being about amassing, experience, which informs your future growth.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I'm very lucky that I think I got in the industry when I was 24. And I'm so fucking lucky. Like, I sometimes like, oh, what would I have done if I was 18? I would have made so much money. Yeah, but I would have been a fucking psychopath.
It might have wrecked you.
It could, it probably would have wrecked me. So I'm very lucky that I chose to come into this and choose it as a career mainly. It wasn't like a little funsy, like, I'm going to make some porn. It was like fuck, like, I don't want to do social work. Like, this fucking sucks. So does managing a fucking restaurant. Like, this all is garbage. So
Well, I was going to ask because I find this is some of the most interesting story, and for our listeners and the kind of folks that listen to this podcast, like where that switch over was. What were you dealing with? What were you up to? And then how did you kind of trip backwards, as it were, into the quote unquote the industry?
oh, I've got a story.
Oh, please.
My ex-husband at the time, actually. So I was with him and I had graduated college. I had an internship for social work, and it was really sad. And I was also at the same time, I had left my managing position at a restaurant that I had been at for 2 years because I had moved to downtown in Denver. So I started working at this place called Illegal Pete's. It's kind of like Chipotle, but like fresh ingredients from Colorado and like really tasty margaritas. So it's supposed to be like the fun Chipotle. I worked with all my friends, like they comp like bands who come through on tour, and like they hire you if you look like me or if you have holes in your face, and I love that. So I was working there, and
Wait, I got to ask real quick. Is this, the way I heard it, is this the kind of place that like had like a venue, like live bands?
they just liked bands that would come through on tour, and they'll comp bands' food.
Oh, I see.
I see.
Yeah, they'll like comp the bands as food that come in. They'll be like, if you like went on their site and told them like, hey, this is my tour, this is my band. They used to like comp bands as food when they would come through, like where an Illegal Pete's was.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know why that all happened, but cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I was young and I thought I was like gonna date a band boy and I wanted like pay for his food to impress him. And I'm like, hey, have you been to Illegal Pete's? So I worked there rolling fucking
We'll feed
burritos. Yeah. I can roll the biggest burrito ever. You could give me any size and I could roll a fucking burrito.
Professionally without it being sloppy.
100%.
That's a skill set.
Yeah, the first time I did it, like my hands, I have small hands. So the first burrito, I was like, how the fuck do you do this? So anyways, that's what I was doing, y'all. I was rolling fucking burritos. And I was like, this is so much TMI.
Oh, this is great.
I had my first IUD in, okay, while I was working at Illegal Pete's. And I got a copper IUD, which has no hormones in it. And why the fucking gyno was like, yeah, you've been on birth control, like, since you were 13. Let's put you on the non-hormonal one. Sounds great. So they put the fucking copper devil claw in me. And I had the worst motherfucking cramps for literally, I had it in for 10 months. So off and on for 10 months. And the last 6 months or so, yes, my ex-husband was cheating on me, but also because of this IUD, I was working these 10-hour shifts and I was getting these fucking yeast infections.
Son of a bitch.
I couldn't leave work. And I know you're like, God, are you seriously talking about your vagina on fire right now? I'm like, I've not had yeast infections since I left my ex-husband, by the way. So, so I have this IUD. I have this cheating ex-husband. I'm like, what the fuck? How is this happening all the fucking time? I don't have sex with anyone. I'm in a polyamorous fucking marriage and I don't sleep with anyone but my husband. Like, he cheats on me because he doesn't tell me who he's sleeping with. Like, are you a fucking asshole? Yes. Like, you're so fucking stupid. Anyways, besides the point. Back to the IUD. I can't fucking stand. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So I go to the doctor. She was like, hey, so your IUD is like accumulating like all this yeast around it and it's not clearing the infection. So like, we just need to take it out. Like, you can't have an IUD. So I struggled for 10 months and I was like, what am I going to do? I can't roll burritos. My vagina's on fire. Back at home, my ex fucking husband, who he was an EOD dude in the Army. And if you don't know what EOD dude, any listeners, they did bomb detection. So he was the first on the site to like check if there's a bomb. And then if there's a bomb, he's like, hey, bomb team, come dismantle it. But like, you have to have a fucking death wish if that's your fucking job, right?
He was the first to die.
God, I wish. Would have saved me a lot of fucking trouble. Anyways, so he's in the Army. He did 20 years of service in 12 years. He's a psycho. So never did any like healing past that. It's none of my business.
Yeah.
So it all matters because he is now, while I'm doing this job 10 months, paying the bills, he's bedridden from having 2 slip discs in his back, from having like, you know, some fucking injury from like the fucking heavy backpack he carried or whatever the fuck. And I was the only one like working. And yes, he was getting, you know, his fucking Army money, but like nonetheless, it's like, you're not fucking working. So I was like, you literally aren't moving from the couch. I'm walking 3 dogs in downtown Denver and my dog's aggressive. I have to walk him solo. I'm working 10 hours. I was sometimes working till 2 a.m. And then have to be back at the restaurant at 10 in the morning. And then I didn't get home till 3. And then you eat. And then it's like, so like that was my life on repeat for honestly like a couple years, just in terms of like restaurant to illegal Pete's. And it just got to the point where like, unfortunately, having a miserable sack of fucking useless garbage on your couch doesn't help. But I was like, I have to fucking change this. So I was like, okay, I think I'm finally gonna not be a model, you know, like an Instagram model and just like go and do hot girl shoots and just like post them on the fucking internet. I was like, I'm gonna try to make money off this.
Right.
Q 2017, where the podcast began.
I see.
Now here we are.
So what was your like first move? It's no longer like a lateral move. It's no longer an idea, but what was the first official thing?
Selena Kill. That's who was the first thing. Hot cam girl from Denver. She shows up on my Instagram feed and I'm like, what is Exotica? What the fuck is this place? What the fuck? And then I click on her links and I'm like, what is MiniVids? What is this? Is this homemade porn? I used to love watching cams. That was my favorite type of fucking like, you know, jerk off material when I was 13 years old. I loved watching cams.com. Fuck. And I'm like, I could do this? Oh my God, I don't have to just be a cam girl. Because I didn't really like, and I still, as I said, I don't love the cam interaction. And I was like, oh my God, I can make porno videos and literally sell them for $6. That is sick. So I messaged Selena on my government name, you know, personal Instagram, doesn't know jack shit. And I was like, hey, you're really pretty. I saw that you make like these homemade like pornos and like, I want to be in one with you. And she's like, cool, come on over, see if you want to like, let's chat. And if you like the vibe, we'll film. So I went over and I had no name. I was just, you know, me, normal,
fresh off the street,
normal old me. And I filmed a sexy ass first girl squirting video. Her partner filmed it. That was the other thing I really liked. Like I found her because like her content looked beautiful. Like it was very well done. And I was like, shit, like that's so cool. You must have a camera guy and and I'm like, oh, you just have like an apartment and like your boyfriend. That's whoa. So it really changed my life. Like I try to always shout Selena out. We don't stay in like huge touch, but like, yeah, she definitely was like a person that if I had not seen, I don't know where I would be today.
Yeah, that's how you got your foot in the door then.
Yeah, and she introduced me to some other, babes out in Denver, which was babes not in Denver, and before you know it, I'm sucking Sophie Ladder's dick. So, like, there we are.
Did you start coming up with, like, your pseudonym and personality and stuff like that at that point, or did that come later?
Yeah, no, I learned pretty quickly from Selena. She kind of, like, showed me the Twitter world and Instagram. I was like, you really need to get on here and kind of like, separate yourself. But, be warned, all your friends are going to find out. And I was like, I don't really care. Everyone knows I'm a slut anyways.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, what was the social transition, and does your like family and friends, like, how's that all play into it?
Complicated, right? I grew up in like, it's like growing up. When I was like 12, I started going to like, hardcore music shows, like, screamy, rah, rah. Not like emo, but like angry cavemen. And
Like
it's
noise music.
yeah. And it's like, super misogynistic. You got to fucking fight for your life when you're a fucking whore in a misogynistic culture. So, I was always pretty heavily judged, I feel like, by a lot of people, because I really didn't give a fuck. My MySpace name, like, for instance, was my government name, but Kaiia Tits. That was my name. So, like, since I was 15,
Just going hard right away.
Just owned it.
I'm 15. I have great tits. Like, who the fuck am I? Like, are you serious? Where is my mother? Oh, I know. Trying to keep me off MySpace and me going behind her back and still doing it anyways. That's where she was. My poor mother, bless her soul. I would say, when I actually like took the leap though, and I became, well, I wasn't Kaiia Eve off the bat. I chose the name of one of my enemies as my first porn name, and it caused quite a kerfluffle. And I lost quite people that I went to the bar with, I wouldn't really consider them friends, but they were like, that is so petty. She could literally get in so much trouble if they were to go on Google and like search her name and you were to be there. I'd be like, I'm not Deanna. Like, what do you mean she's going to get in trouble? Are you guys like smoking crack? Yeah, you are, because I've smoked crack with you before, actually. Haha. But no, I definitely like, I said fuck you to everyone. I was like, if you really don't want to like get behind me in my life, like go fuck yourself. You're like, stay in Denver. Have a good time going to the same bars for the rest of your life. Fuck you.
Middle fingers right out the gate. Just
Yeah.
all middle fingers.
I mean, I really didn't give a fuck because you know what? No one was all that kind to me. And you know what? I'll also say I am 5 years of recovery of being an alcoholic. And because I was a fucking psychopath. Like, I was a whole different person. So I get it. I understand, like, drunk me dealing with that. And now I'm being petty about some fucking name. I get it. Some people were just fucking tired of me. And you know what? Maybe I would have been tired of me too. Fortunately got a fresh start though. And I came here and, I don't drink because I don't want to be a bad person. And I respect anyone who can have a drink, yo. Like, I fucking wish, but I can't. So I don't. And, I'm sure I owe some people apologies out there for some shit I've done in the past. But, I don't know. I was probably drunk and I can't fucking remember. So.
Right. Was your decision to quit like bolstered by AA or anything like that? Did you go through any programs?
No.
You knew when it was enough. And
actually, I was at the burlesque Suicide Girls, the Suicide Girls burlesque show. And I was at a venue I'd been at my whole fucking life going to shows. And I ordered a tequila sunrise. And like, I was with a new group of people and I was at a venue where all the like old people I knew were too. And I just like kind of had a moment where I was like, ugh, this drink tastes like shit. Like, it makes me feel like shit. Like, I'm a fucking asshole and I am shit when I drink. So like, maybe I just won't. And I just remember that being like my last drink and just like really wanting to like I really didn't want to fucking convince my friends blackout drunk that I'm okay to drive home, and then waking up and being like, how'd I get home? And lo and behold, it was me who drove myself home. And like, that is fucked up. And I should be in, fucking jail for doing shit like that. I'm lucky I never killed anyone. And, I just have to own that and like know that like if I were to fall back into those habits, like I'll lose anything and everything that's important to me. I lose and I fuck up when I drink.
you finally have something to lose.
Yeah, I do. And, that's the other thing. It's funny you say that. Like, quitting drinking goes hand in hand also was like, I royally suffered, trigger warning, from like suicidal ideation, like up until like a couple years ago, and I've really had to work through that. And some days I'm like, oh, but I'm like, okay, no, the feeling like I'm able to get through it, unlike before where the alcohol just,
Intensified it.
it was just all around bad for me. You know, people can drink and have a wonderful time and just like get loose and like that's, God bless you. Like,
Right.
you are
right.
you are the heroes. But you know,
Folks that don't have to self-medicate with alcohol.
yeah, you know, like
'Cause it's a lot of that.
for sure, for sure. And I totally understand that. Like I definitely get it. And it's like, you know, there's so much shit that happens in this world too. And like, that's it. I don't judge anyone. It's just like, it has to be what I do for me because I just want to be a good person. And you know, fortunately, like alcohol makes me a bad person. So I quit. I gave that up. And, you know, in the process, like my family was pretty upset when they found out that you decided to do the porn route. The man who groomed me, my best friend from when I was 14, he was 22.
Oh, goodness.
And we stayed friends until I was like 20 or 21 because I didn't realize I was being groomed.
Wow,
I
yeah.
thought he was my bestie.
Right.
But he sent my porn to my parents.
Jesus.
Yeah, and he's like a registered sex offender now.
Oh, my
bet.
And isn't supposed to be on the internet. So the fact he found my porn and sent it to my family, my dad sent me an email and was like, you are involved in activities that are not worthy of your dignity or your respect as a woman. And I was like, oh, bless your heart. Like, have a really great life. But, you know, before I moved to Vegas, we ended up meeting and he was like, I'm sorry for being a fucking dickwad. And I was like, I'm sorry for being a person, you know, because you need an apology too, Dad. So I'm sorry for existing. So we're okay now. You know, it'll never be good. It wasn't good since I was young, but like it didn't make it better. And, you know, that's fine. I have really great people in my life and chosen family is wonderful. And I'm very lucky that I at least have an incredibly supportive mother.
Not to dig up any wounds, but come from a broken home?
Yeah.
child
I've gone
of
through
divorce?
therapy. I've gone through therapy. Like,
So
don't
your
worry,
dad
guys.
and mom are two separate entities that you have to deal with.
Since I was 2. I don't even
really?
remember them being together, actually. And I'm going to say, thank God they were never together.
Wow.
It, like, my mom was my safe haven. She was where I could go when things got tough. So it was a weird growing up. My mom moved to Colorado because she had family there. My dad begrudgingly moved to Colorado because his kids were there. Always something I will respect my father for. Nonetheless, he's still kind of a dick, but you know, so am I. Runs in the family. He has a new wife, and I have my feelings about that. She's been my stepmother since I was like 6, but it's hard to call someone a stepmother when they don't act like that. So, you know, there's just always going to be like weirdness from that. And it is what it is. I have a little brother who's my half brother. And, you know, I hope he's great, but like, I don't know much about him. You know, I really don't know much about him.
And this is a kid from your stepmom?
Stepmom and my dad, yeah. That's always, you know, interesting. Like, my brother, I have an older brother who's 5 years older than me. And we're besties now. When we were younger, you know, we bicker and fight, but like...
A child of your dad?
Yeah. So we're full siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And really lucky to have him. He's a really great older brother. He's fucking... So anytime I've ever been in trouble, he's like... How much money do you need for your ticket this time or your alcohol class this time? Yeah, he's always been a great brother to me.
Always had your back.
Yeah, always has. And, you know, we've always had each other's backs, like when it came to like being at my dad's house and shit like that. And, you know, my mom, like, she's like the nicest person in the whole fucking world. Like, I know people say that about their moms, but like she's an angel.
That has been a continuing theme, is that the mom, 9 times out of 10, is the good guy, is the person that relates and has your back, and it's always the kind of shitty dad.
It's like almost like, I don't know. What's wrong with you straight cis men? a question for the fucking decade,
Yeah.
century.
For the ages.
The ages.
Yes.
But yeah, life was like, it was pretty normal to go back and forth, but I knew it wasn't normal. My dad was an airline pilot. So like I would pack a bag and go from my mom's house to my dad's house whenever he was in town. When he'd go on a trip, I'd go back. But my dad like wouldn't buy me anything at his house, so I would have to pack a bag because I didn't have like clothes or like just like shit like that. I had like a toothbrush and pillows, but like I had to pack my stuff. So I'm an excellent packer. If anyone ever needs help packing a fucking bag to go anywhere, I can Tetris that shit like a motherfucker.
Preparation is key in this industry.
It is.
It's honestly,
Gotta have go bags.
I am grateful for the divorce and the bag packing because it's gotten me to where I am and I can pack a perfect set bag. It all comes full circle.
I was going to ask, because I find this is also a common theme with the kind of guests that we have on, is this sense of transition from one place to where the industry is, to where the heat is. Now, you started in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
What was the impetus that had you come out to Vegas?
Honestly, it was just like I had done all that I could do in Denver, it felt like. Like,
The business plateaued for you.
yeah, I was, and maybe, but also I was like, I will say, 6 years ago, pre-COVID, as I know y'all remember, it was like really
different.
hard to find people to film with, especially in like, you don't think of Denver as a remote area now for filming, but 6 years ago, like, I knew everyone that filmed in the state of Colorado. We would go to a brunch and like it was like 20 of us and then there was a couple escorts that would come. But that was the community, Now I'm checking, I flip through Twitter all the time and I click on a hot girl's profile and it's like Denver, Colorado. I'm like, girl, where'd you come from? Like, So, at the time it just, yeah, it plateaued. I had made as many Sus Sister custom videos as I could with my filming partner back there. And I was like, I need a new sister. So truly, like, it was like I wanted to do that wrestling with Ariel. And I was like, that is going to be the good, like, that's my foot in the door.
Right.
And it actually was. So worked out.
So you moved out to Vegas.
I moved out to Vegas.
And how long have you been in Vegas?
Since March of 2019.
How has the industry like shifted for you, or what do you notice as different?
Oh,
Is it a good move for you?
absolutely. I thought I didn't like Vegas when I got here, but it was because I was miserable with my ex.
Right. That's the thing.
Ruined things for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, for people that are listening to the podcast and that like travel from your humble beginnings to a place of industry, you think things are going to like change right away, or that could be a thought that you have in your head, and you realize that you bring yourself with you.
Yeah.
So you still like not that much changes. You still have to deal with like baggage and trauma and things.
People think that it's like going to change everything, but it didn't. And we actually weren't married when we moved to Vegas. We got married like 3 weeks after we moved to Vegas because I was attacked by a dog, my dog, and almost murdered. And I needed health insurance. That was my 3rd week here. I was attacked by my dog. He was older and
What kind of dog?
short-haired German pointer mixed with an American Staffy Terrier. So he was an 80-pound pit bull.
Oh my goodness.
I found him on the streets. He's fucking crazy. I had to muzzle him when I'd walk him. He's a wild boy. But he loved his mom. I do not blame him for what happened. He was around that abusive relationship that I was in. And I was home alone in Vegas because my ex was picking up my car to drive back to Vegas from Denver. And my dog was outside, and my ex has 2 other dogs. So there's 3 big fucking dogs. And I'm like trying to wrangle all fucking 3. And my dog, I look over and he's fucking eating his own shit, which I'd never seen him do before. And I was like, what is going on? Something is happening. What is wrong with you? So I went to grab like doggy toothpaste, and I went to like grab his muzzle to start brushing his teeth, and I
Did it a little too quick.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He thought that I was going to do something, I guess. And so he jumped at me and he bit my top of this lip, and this whole part of my lip was
Son of a
missing.
bitch.
Oh my God.
And then he knocked this tooth straight out. He hit my jaw so fucking hard. Now I have permanent TMJ from this. And my tooth just like,
Oh my God.
and I was like, I like looked down the ground and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And it registered, and I could hear the other pit bull that my ex had, Jerry, who's good, and was like trying to keep my other dog away from me. So I started to like try to like run out the back door, and he ran towards me and jumped on my back and tried to bite my neck and missed because I turned around, and then he jumped up again and he grabbed my arm, and that's like where I have like all these scars from. So I held him on my little arm, and I just brought him to the back sliding door and threw his fucking muzzle out and slammed the door, and he finally let go of my arm.
Jesus.
Wow.
So then, yeah, I was like, he didn't mean to. He's good, I swear. So they like put dogs in quarantine for 14 days when this happens, and then they have to like pass like a test, and if they don't pass the test, then it's no doggy go time. It's, bye-bye.
Right.
And he did pass. So he was sent home with me. And I was like, we can get a trainer. We can make it better. I know it. And like, it was like a month, and like almost, a very almost aggressive thing happened. And I was like, yep, that's stupid of me when you have to put him down. So
you're more of a twice bitten, once shy kind of person.
like that whole thing is just like, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to fucking work again. Like you can't fucking make porn with no lip. Like, are you kidding me?
That's a very niche audience.
I went to a plastic surgeon. This motherfucker regrew my lip with stem cell powder. We didn't do a surgery. He fucking ordered some pig fetus stem cells, and I put it on my lip for like 3 weeks, and my lip grew back.
Wow.
I would have never known.
There's like, I think I have 2 or 3 rounds of Juvederm just to even it out. Like, I didn't go crazy. But yeah.
Wow.
So now I work again, and I'm fine, and everything's great. So, whatever.
Son of a bitch.
Learning experiences, right? We all have life experiences that we call them life-changing moments.
Or the sum of our experiences, for sure.
Yeah.
Jesus. What a harrowing story.
He was good, okay? It's like, it wasn't his fault. I have so many good memories with him. Like, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
he rode until the day he died, so,
I'm assuming you had to put him down.
I've put down many of my pets because I've had many pets. Like, I've had like 3 dogs, 4 dogs, and I've put them all down with them, like in their old age when it's been time to go.
Sure.
Yeah. Never been like, let's go euthanize some dogs. No, they've all been ready to they're on their way out.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a Shiba Inu, and she was just like, she was a tortured soul. I adopted her. I don't know where the fuck she came from, but I feel like she was put on a leash and like left outside for like her life. And then I found her, and she acted like a feral fox and like never really got over it. And so it was time when it was time to put her down. She's old as fuck. I had the vet come to my house because she hated leaving the house. And I went outside to her favorite little spot, and we did the whole thing. And then the vet like walked her to the car, and I was walking with her, and I saw a white butterfly fly right in front of me across, and my mom saw it. And I was like, did you see that? That was so fucking weird, a white butterfly. So I look it up, and the symbol is, in Japanese culture, where Shiba Inus are from, white butterfly is a symbol of your loved one passing on and making it to the place that they're destined to be at. And it's them telling you that they've made it there.
You got the universe is okay.
I can be there for someone if they need to put down an animal, because, like, you gotta. Like, it's like you're their whole life. It's a duty.
Yeah, it's quality of a life thing. If they don't have quality of a life, they can't do it themselves.
100%, yeah. And I don't believe in like human life-saving measures to like save animals. Like, if cancer, I'm like, I'm sorry, we have to put you down. Like, why would I treat, like, that's what people do. That's weird.
Yeah.
You're
You're really going far into debt for that too, because nothing's covering that.
dude,
Yeah.
I know. That was the other thing too, right? Just like the debt that acquires with all that. I'm like, but yeah. Now I just have a cat and she's good. She's very easy, very low maintenance, and that's it. She just meows. Needs her wet in the morning and at night. Screams, actually, if she doesn't get it. Yeah, she's good.
Do you have a lot of time left with her? How old's your cat?
Oh, she's turning 10 on October 31st.
So you got about anywhere from 3 to 6 years left.
She's sprightly. She's got another 10. Trust me. Like, people think she's 4 or 5. She has a belly, though. You know, she has a little, what is it called? A primordial pouch.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's got a thick one.
Fat pouches. Yeah.
She does. She's good. She's actually my
Saving up that food.
Yeah, she's my boyfriend's cat. So I met a really awesome dude who's been my boyfriend for 2.5 years now, and he's a good boy. He's collared by me. He's my 24/7 live-in sub who I still make breakfast sandwiches because that's my love language. Yeah, he got Salem when his ex-girlfriend actually got Salem when she was like 2 weeks, and he was like, "No, get rid of her. I already have a cat. I have the best cat. Get rid of her." And she jumped on his shoulder one night, and that was it. They fell in love, and now that's been his cat for 10 years. And she doesn't like really that many people, so the fact that she treats me like just like she treats him, it's like the most special thing I think that's ever happened to me. Ever.
That's so sweet.
It's so great when you're like one of the cat's favorite persons.
Like the only.
Feel love.
I know. I'm like, I am your mother. Well, he's her mother. I'm like the father because she thinks that that he birthed her. I swear.
Yeah, you're one of the favorite people though. So you get the lap sets, you get the head scritches, you get all that.
Because I'm the one who feeds her the wet. You know, her wet. That's what I call it. Her wet.
Oh yeah.
Before we started the show, we had some time to talk. When my cat showed up, you immediately called them chickens. Where does that come from? Why are you calling cats chickens?
Oh yeah. The little quips. Yeah.
I'm like, does that not sound like a little chicken in the morning? Like my cat in the morning. That's what when she sees me in the morning at 7:30 a.m. because I'm going pee. It's time to let me know that she's awake and she's ready for breakfast. And she walks up the stairs. And I'm like, you're such a chicken. Sounds like a little chicken. Mrs. C. Hicken is her name.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hate to do this. Time is flying by, but I'm going to take a hard left turn.
Okay.
Because it's getting to be that time. You've been so gracious with sharing all your stories with us. I'm going to bring it back on industry track.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
3 pieces of advice, and we still have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Take your time. 3 pieces of advice that you'd give to up-and-comers in this industry. They could be practical. They could be based on like totally subjective experiences.
Yeah.
Could be based on drama. You know,
Yeah.
There's no rules. We want to hear it from like your subjective perspective.
Well, the number one thing that I like to tell people is just remember that it feels like a competition because other people, other directors make it feel like a competition. But in like the reality of it, like it's not because like, you know, the bigger scenes, like they're mainly usually written for one person and then usually that person cancels and then they find a replacement and then they find a replacement and then they find a replacement and finally it's done. But, you know, it's very easy to take this job personally when your whole job is focused on your looks and your talents of what your body can do. And, you know, that's hard for people. It's like a really hard thing to accept is like, you're literally getting judged on your body. And it's one of the few industries where it matters. Don't let it get to you because no matter what, like we are here and people are looking at us, but like that's what's important is like you have to just be happy with who you are and yourself. And like when you get down on those days where you're feeling super, super self-conscious, like we all have those days, but remember like, you know, you're still the baddest. Like it's, you know, it's tough, but like my advice from that is just like be easy on yourself and remember that it's not personal.
Right. Maybe not tie up your sense of like personal validation with like the ins and outs of what the industry requires of you.
Yeah, it's really not that important, and it's a little vain.
Learn how to compartmentalize a little bit.
Yeah, and like remember like who like like I'm Kaiia Eve, yeah, but it's nice to just kind of like not be Kaiia Eve sometimes, and it's important I think to kind of like remember that it's hard to be on 24/7. So just like honor yourself and make sure that you're giving yourself break and enough time for mental health healing and whatnot.
You're you first. You're not your brand.
Absolutely.
That's for other people.
Yeah. And that also plays into this next piece of advice of like, be you, but like, remember that like Twitter, it's still like, unfortunately, like your professional page is your professional page. And I've learned that by tweeting kind of, some things that probably weren't professional 4 or 5 years ago. And I have learned that directors were like, oh yeah, no, I saw that. Or, someone said something like da 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 da. And then they've met me and been like, oh, like you're great. You're great on set. I'm like, I know I'm a firecracker. So I'm sorry. I come off a little strong online. So I've learned to kind of like, still be me, but like, pull myself back and like if I need to go shit post, just go to your fucking like where your BFFs see your shit tweets. Like you don't need to tell, and also I'm like you don't need to tell all of your fans that like the drama that's happening.
Or just let off steam with your therapist or your closest friends in private.
I highly recommend therapy. It's very beneficial. Pineapple Support's been great for me right now, and I'm very fortunate that the therapist that I have when my sessions run out through Pineapple, she does take my insurance. So that's something to always, shout out to anyone listening, talk to your therapist, see if she takes your insurance. But I guess that's 2 pieces of advice. My last piece of advice.
Maybe something practical. We already spoke about how you're a really good packer, and that like really plays into like success. Getting prepped for a scene, being able to pack a bag.
Oh.
Are you the kind of person that like I overpack and I bring stuff that normally wouldn't be brought to a set because I anticipate that not to sound like an asshole, but sometimes on the call sheet, I realize I'm working with somebody that's new and that they're going to forget their brush. They're going to forget their hair dryer. And I bring all that shit to lend.
But same though, I do that too if I'm not like flying somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, practical advice is honestly like, I guess some content advice is like I have an actual like in my notes app on my iPhone, just like everything that I need to do to make sure that like I get what I need out of the scene that I'm gonna release for myself. Like, I have the list of like pictures, not safe for work pictures. Do we want sex stills? Usually no, but if they want them, okay. TikTok, safe for work reel. And then going into your content, making sure you kind of have like a flow, and then paperwork, making sure you have all sides of ID. Like I have it all written down because like I've been doing this 6 years, but I've still forgotten sometimes to have been like, oh fuck, I forgot to take a photo of the back of your ID. Like, oh, forgot we have to do that now.
Yeah, that's a new thing. That's fucked me.
But like that's some really good advice I would give is like taking all of that and then being organized with it, because once I decided I wanted to get my own website, KaiiaEve.com, shout out, I realized I had no organization whatsoever. I didn't have a PDF with, descriptions, title. I had nothing. It's just all on my mini vids. That's all where it was. I didn't actually have a fucking set copy in front of me. So I've transcribed it all, and now I keep it pretty decently organized. And that to me would be like a really like just start. Even if your 3 years is deep, start now, because it's going to be worse in 3 years.
Yeah, make a list of contingencies of what the scene requires on any given day.
Yeah.
And make a list. Make a physical list. Make a checkmark list.
And I printed out the checklists from kink.com. There's like the consent checklist. They're valuable. And I just keep a copy so that I can go through that with people if they don't know. Sometimes performers are new and they're like, oh, I'm good with anything. And like, that's been me before. But now, having that piece of paper, I'm like, okay, are you good with sounding? And like the dude's like, what's that? And I'm like, okay, so you're not good with everything. Got it. Okay, perfect.
Right. Be ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend. I get it. It kind of comes with time and experience, but hey, I got the time and experience, so take the advice.
Get real familiar with Google Sheets.
Yes, seriously.
That is all amazing advice. And we're coming up to the last few minutes of recordable media. So I got to say thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It has been an absolute treat.
Yeah, I'm happy you DM me back. Hee hee hee.
And
Excited to have you through.
You film content, right? I'm just kidding. We already talked about it. Hee hee hee.
thank you so much. And for everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Approximate Podcast. And everybody wave at their cameras and say goodbye. We love you so much, and we'll see you next time on another episode of the Approximate Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.